Colleagues, good afternoon. It's a great pleasure to welcome you here to the University of Strathclyde this afternoon. Before we begin the event, I have some pieces of housekeeping to tell you. There are no programmed fire alarms for this afternoon. If the fire alarm sounds, we will have to evacuate the room. The exits are there, and there. There are no life jackets. We do not expect to land on water. I also have to tell you that the plenary speakers in here this afternoon will be video recorded. So the notion is that we're going to record this and put it on the website as soon as we can. That also means that during the recording, if and when, and I hope it's most certainly when, you ask questions, there will be a microphone available and your voices will also be recorded and maybe on the website. It's important that we use the microphone. Sarah has the microphone and will bring it round. It simply means that we capture the audio stream onto the recording much more clearly than if we do not use a microphone, which is also why I'm using this, despite the fact that the acoustics in here are really rather very good. So, if ultimately you don't want your voice or picture to appear on the website, you must let us know, please. So, housekeeping done, it is an enormous pleasure to host this event today on behalf of QAA Scotland for the enhancement theme, Graduates for the 21st Century. I'm sure you're all well aware that this enhancement theme has been running for a year or so and is part of a programme of enhancement themes in which we collectively, as higher education institutions in Scotland, think about our practices, reflect on our practices and share our practices. This particular theme has built very strongly on themes that have gone in the past, so one of the aims of it is to collect information and refresh information about previous themes that we have engaged, including such topics as the first year and research teaching linkages, and a whole variety of others, of course. But part of the notion of this theme has been to reflect on what is the purpose of higher education? What are we doing for our students? What should be the attributes of a student graduating in the 21st century? Now, when we set off on this theme, there was already a sense of an enormous amount of change going on in universities and in the world in general. The whole notion of the net, the whole notion of technology in education has opened up opportunities that have been previously unrivaled. New students coming into university who previously did not go in, students coming back into universities for continuous professional development, and the mobility of staff and students around the world, the internationalisation of education, have all been important drivers of change. But of course, layered on top of that now, we have huge and significant financial changes throughout the world which inevitably will affect higher education. As such, this theme has become, I think, really rather timely and important to reflect on what are we doing in higher education, how will our students be affected by changes, how will our students leave university, what attributes will they have when they go. To discuss this at what I know will be a high and erudite level, I'm delighted to welcome to Strathclyde our two speakers today. The first speaker is going to be Professor Michael Sterling, who was previously Vice-Chancellor at Brunel University and following that Birmingham University. He's currently Chairman of the Science and Technology Facilities Council, one of the RC UK research councils. Our other speaker is Professor Christopher Smith, currently on secondment from the University of St Andrews to the British School in Rome, one of the premier research institutes for classics, archaeology, not just in Europe but in the world. It is an enormous pleasure to welcome here two such distinguished academics. So, the structure of the day should be fairly simple. We're looking for two talks of around 40 minutes. I'm beginning to sound like a referee now. We're looking for good, clean talks of about 40 minutes. which will give us plenty of time to ask questions, both between between the talks, when we can address Michael Sterling's talk, but at the end when we can collect together some thoughts on the programme as a whole. So, it's my pleasure to bring out our first speaker, Professor Michael Sterling.